leadership and communication skills are needed and generally in demand almost anywhere. So in terms of this transferable skill set, if you have leadership and communication skills, you can use them in almost any job. And if you can't lead and you can't communicate, you basically can't work. So it's also a kind of baseline that employers are looking for to see, can this person communicate? Can they think? Do they have discipline? Do they have work ethic? Do they have character? And then if you have that, that's already often a step in the door. It's one way you can differentiate as a human being when computers are going to be competing for work with you. So if you can lead and communicate in ways also that set you apart from others, so if you do it well, like learn to get really good at it, employers generally will trust you with more responsibility, they'll take a chance on you, and they'll give you more opportunities. And if you can learn to lead in one area of life, even in your studies, you can apply those skills to new challenges and projects in the future, because leadership and communication are transferable skills. If you master them in one domain of life, you will be able to embody them more easily in other domains of life. So, what can you do to develop your leadership skills? And I'm saying these things partly because some of these things I did and some of these things I didn't do and wish I did do when I was a student. So the first is take opportunities to be responsible for and lead projects. So the act of being responsible for something forces you to learn leadership skills and qualities like resilience, discipline, patience, and to learn where your weaknesses are. Also to learn how to communicate, and it develops confidence. So you take on one project, you complete it, you'll be more confident to take on the next project, a bigger project. So it could be sports, part-time jobs, class projects, anything that you see that's interesting to you, that you would have to take all or some responsibility for. These are really great opportunities to put you in conditions to learn leadership and communication skills. Learn by doing. The other thing is to see university as a way to develop leadership skills. So when you're in university, you don't always see the value in it. Is that fair to say? I hear it from students all the time. I was a student. So you don't always see the value in it because you're thinking about stuff. You're thinking about the world. You're studying about the world. And so you don't always see the opportunities that you have in front of you, or that it's practical, or that it will be practical. So the truth is there are many leadership and communication skills you could be developing, and you probably are developing already within the structure of university. And the important point here is, regardless of how much effort you make in university, you're going to have to learn these skills anyway. You can't avoid learning these things, and it's just going to be harder whenever you do get a job or you are given responsibility for something in the future. It will be more difficult if you have to learn everything then. So there's benefits in learning as much as you can now. So here's some examples. Like every class that you attend, every essay you write, every exam you study for, everything you read, you don't always know why you're doing it. You're not sure how it's benefiting you, but you'll realize this probably in the future. It's actually helping you to think, to analyze, and to solve problems, which you are going to have to do for the rest of your life. So don't underestimate the value of that. A lot of people don't go to university. They don't get any training in that. And sometimes it's harder for them. So the ability to think critically and analytically, it's not only a good muscle to strengthen, it will improve your decision-making and judgment in the future when you have to make decisions, or you're given leadership or responsibility and you have to make decisions on your own. So practicing now, thinking about things, thinking things through, thinking what the best answer is, this is actually helping your decision making and judgment, which are essential leadership skills. You need good judgment and decision making to be a leader, to be an entrepreneur, to do anything entrepreneurial even. So you're doing that already, and don't think it's a waste of time, because it's not. Another thing is socializing and networking. So this is something you're going to have to do the rest of your life. So you might as well do it now. And so you can develop lifelong relationships with people already. I still have friends I met in university. I have friends that I met in university, or people I met in university that gave me jobs, that got me job interviews, that gave me recommendations. So you have no idea how the connections you make today will help you in 10 years, 20 years. You have no idea. So network, make good relationships. You don't need to know what for. Just make good relationships with people. Another thing is managing your time, your coursework, your schedule. All of this helps you to develop responsibility and self-discipline. So again, it's not for nothing. If you can assume your courses, get your assignments done, come to class, manage your schedule. It seems like irrelevant, but it's not irrelevant, because you're going to have to do that in the future anyway. So the more you get comfortable with it, like it's easy and you feel fluid with it and you don't feel pressure or stress with it, you're going to be already in a stronger position for when you do get more responsibility put on you, which you will. Another thing, take courses you have to speak in or improve your speaking in. I avoided taking any course that I would have to speak in, I think for my first year or second year in university. And then I realized, well, I'm going to have to do this. So why don't I get over my fears of this now? And then by my third or fourth year, I took as many courses as I could with speaking assignments in them, because I liked it and because I knew I could use that skill as a practical skill. So take courses you have to speak in, or there's practical elements in that you can develop competency in, and put it on your resume, or at least just feel more confident whenever you're put in a position in your life or your career where you might have to speak anyway. Another thing, you're asked to write a lot in university. Sometimes you don't know how this is ever going to help you. I recommend that you continuously improve your writing. Learn to write clearly, logically, and creatively. Don't slack off with your writing, because it's an invaluable skill and you never know what you might do with it. One day you might want to write a book. People with experience writing can more easily write books. If you're a good writer, the thought of writing a book won't scare you, because you know how to write. You're confident in your writing. People that have never written anything are terrified to write books. It's true. If think about it, if you have no experience with something, it's scarier to try to do something. So I hear that from people all the time. I'm so scared to write a book. I'm like, have you ever written anything? They're like, no. I'm like, well, that's why. So if you write well, you'll be able to use that skill later. Maybe you'll go to graduate school. Maybe you'll need to write speeches in your career. Maybe even in your job, you just have to write emails, and people notice. Like I'm a good writer, and I've had people comment on how I write emails, and I wasn't even trying to write a good email. They just said, wow, how do you write such clear, effective emails? It makes things so easy for me. I said, I have no idea. I guess I just learned how to write. So don't underestimate the value of writing. Other stuff, develop good self-care habits now, including sleeping, eating well, socializing, having fun, of course, and exercising. You don't want to learn those things later in life. You don't want to have to learn self-care habits at middle age. It's very difficult. and it's much harder to learn new things as you get older. I learned how to, I had mentors who taught me, okay, exercise, have a balanced life when I was even in high school, and I did it in university. And I can tell you it makes my life a lot easier because it's natural for me now. But I have clients and people I know, even they're in their 40s or 50s, they never had good self-care habits, and now they're trying to learn them. It's very difficult. So you might as well do it now, especially when you have more time as a student, to build a stronger foundation, and it'll make your life easier. Another thing you can do is expose yourself to different perspectives by taking electives that interest you or going on exchanges. Sometimes maybe you take an odd course in some department, you have no idea why you took this course. It's actually good for your brain, and it increases lateral thinking, which is also good for problem solving. And it'll make you more open-minded and empathic. So even just taking different courses, you might not realize it now, but in 10 or 20 years, you realize, oh, wow, that really opened my mind to this whole other area of study and how I think. And so don't underestimate that either. Another thing you can do is work on yourself and your character now. So develop strong qualities like honesty, integrity, empathy, discipline, courage, respect, punctuality, kindness. Character is essential to being a strong leader. And sometimes, especially starting out in your career, your character might be the only thing that's unique about you. One of our guest speakers will probably talk about that, or remaining guest speakers will probably talk about that. Employers, managers, they know university students don't have any life experience or much job experience. You don't have to have that. So you shouldn't feel bad about not having that or anxious about not having that. Everybody knows that you don't have any experience. So what they're looking for is what makes you different. And one thing that can make you different is your character, because character is a significant predictor of leadership. People that with strong character can be trusted with power, with responsibility. And you can improve your character now, so you might as well start doing it. And strengthen your resilience. So remember that some stress is good for you. It makes you grow and strengthens your nervous system so that when you take on a more difficult challenge, you'll be ready. You'll be able, your body, your emotions, your nervous system will be able to handle it because you've already had some stress and you can handle it. So if you're challenged, if it gets stressful in university, just remind yourself that this is going to help you in the future. It's going to make you stronger, and it's preparing you for future challenges. Without this experience, you probably wouldn't be ready, maybe as ready as you will be by handling some stress now. And so embrace that, and also get help if you need it. There's lots of resources at the university for counseling and mentoring. But this is also an important leadership skill. Coping with stress is an essential leadership skill. Essay writing, preparing for and taking exams, projects, they all put a kind of pressure on you. Preparing for an exam, it's a bit stressful. You get a bit anxious, but at the same time, you're developing strength to handle similar scenarios in the future. When your boss says, hey, I need this report for tomorrow morning, or I need you to speak on this topic in 20 minutes without giving you any preparation, and you have to do it. Similar experiences like that, you're going to have to face. So all of the things you're experiencing now will strengthen you and prepare you for that. Some people think in university, it's a waste of time, you're not getting anything out of it. But actually, when I look back now, there's many, many skills I got. You just don't notice it because people aren't pointing them out to you, but you actually are developing some of these leadership and communication skills, and you're going to need them. So I just recommend embracing the opportunities to learn them.